The conference hall on Neutral Station Theta 9 had witnessed countless negotiations over 9 centuries, but none as tense as this. General Jessica Reeves stood at the human delegation's podium, her silver uniform bearing the scars of a dozen campaigns. Across the crystalline floor, Ambassador Zekthor of the Galactic Empire lounged in his suspension field, his 3 eyes regarding her with barely concealed contempt. "The terms are non-negotiable," Jessica said, her voice steady despite the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. "Humanity requests an extension of mining rights in the Outer Rim. Nothing more." Zekthor's translator crackled. "You request? How amusing. Humans still believe they negotiate as equals." Beside Jessica, Commander James Mitchell tensed. He'd served under her for 15 years, and he recognized the dangerous calm settling over her features. The peace treaty, signed after humanity's first contact war, had held because both sides remembered the cost. Billions dead, worlds scorched, a galaxy that nearly tore itself apart. "We are equals under the Theta Accords," Jessica replied. "Or have you forgotten what happened when the Empire last assumed otherwise?" The Krell delegate hissed in approval. The Vithari representative's skin flickered through anxious colors. Everyone in the chamber knew the stories, how humanity, outgunned and outmatched, had fought the Empire to a standstill through sheer audacity and refusal to surrender. Zekthor rose from his field, his massive form casting shadows across the assembled delegates. "The Empire grows weary of human arrogance. Perhaps it is time we reminded you of your place in the Galactic Order." He drew a plasma pistol. The security field should have stopped him. Later investigations would reveal they'd been sabotaged. But in that moment, as Zekthor raised the weapon toward Jessica, time seemed to crystallize. James moved on instinct, but he was too far away. The other delegates scattered. Jessica stood her ground, hands open, refusing to show fear even as death approached. The plasma bolt struck her center mass. She fell, and with her, 900 years of carefully maintained peace shattered like glass. James caught Jessica as she collapsed, her uniform smoking from the impact. Medical nanites were already flooding her system, but the damage was catastrophic. Around them, chaos erupted. Krell security forces swarmed Zekthor. Alarms screamed. "Emergency protocols activated, James," Jessica whispered, blood flecking her lips. Don't let this be the reason." But James wasn't listening to her words. He was listening to the silence that followed, the terrible, pregnant silence of a galaxy holding its breath. Within hours, the news reached Earth. The woman who had dedicated her life to maintaining peace, who had argued against military expansion, who had believed in diplomatic solutions, murdered in cold blood during a sanctioned negotiation. The human response was not what the Empire expected. They expected outrage. Demands for justice. Perhaps a few skirmishes along the border while diplomats scrambled to contain the damage. What they got was cold, methodical fury. James stood on the bridge of the HMCS Retribution 6 weeks later, watching the fleet assemble, 300 ships with more joining every hour. Not the ragtag resistance force of 9 centuries ago, but a modern military machine built on peacetime innovation and carefully maintained readiness. "Sir, we're receiving the same message from the Empire," his communications officer reported. "They're calling this an overreaction." Zekthor acted alone. "They've offered reparations." "Reparations," James repeated flatly. He thought of Jessica's funeral, how her coffin had been draped in Earth's flag and the flags of 20 colony worlds. How her daughter had stood silent and tearless, rage burning in eyes that looked just like her mother's. "They don't understand, do they?" Admiral Chen said from beside him. "They think we're angry about the murder. But we're not?" James asked, though he knew the answer. "Oh, we're furious about that," Chen confirmed. "But that's not why we're here. We're here because they shot her in a negotiation chamber. They shot an unarmed diplomat. They demonstrated that the rules we've lived by for 9 centuries mean nothing to them." The tactical display showed the Empire's border defenses, impressive, but designed to repel raids, not a full-scale invasion. Because there hadn't been a full-scale war in living memory. "If we let this stand," Chen continued, "every 2-bit warlord in the galaxy will think they can target human diplomats. Our people will never be safe at a negotiating table again." Jessica knew that. "It's probably what she was trying to tell you." James nodded slowly. Jessica had understood the stakes better than anyone. She'd built the peace, but she'd also prepared for its end. Hidden in Earth's military archives were contingency plans bearing her signature, strategies for a war that everyone prayed would never come. All ships report ready. Sir, the tactical officer announced. James opened the channel to the fleet. Hundreds of ships, thousands of crew members, all waiting for the word. 900 years ago, he began, humanity earned the right to sit at the galactic table. We paid for it in blood and sacrifice. We proved we couldn't be conquered, couldn't be intimidated, couldn't be broken. The Theta Accords recognized that truth. He paused, gathering himself. General Jessica Reeves believed in those accords. She believed in peace built on mutual respect. The Empire has demonstrated they no longer share that belief. So we will teach the galaxy a lesson our ancestors taught them centuries ago. Humanity does not kneel. Humanity does not surrender. And when you strike at us, we strike back with everything we have. His hand hovered over the commit button. For Jessica. For peace. For the principle that diplomats must be protected. All ships, advance. The fleet surged forward, a tidal wave of human determination pouring across the border. The Empire would learn, as others had before them, that humanity's capacity for peace was matched only by their capacity for war. And this time, they had 900 years of pent-up innovation to unleash. The Second Galactic War had begun.